So guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and this is episode number 1 of the Aberration Creature Submissions. This is one of my favorite series that I do when new creatures are going to be coming to the game, because we take a look at some of the coolest new creatures which could be coming to ARK Survival Ascended for the Aberration release Q1 2024. Now, obviously, there is going to be a whole load of creatures coming to the game, so this series will be coming whenever a new creature submissions is. I've seen in the comment section, so many of you guys have asked for this, so it is back, and you're going to have as many episodes until, I think it's 7 more days until this closes. Wildcard are moving at a very, very fast pace with this, and today we are taking a look at the Koolasuchus. Now, if you guys do enjoy this series, go ahead and smash that like button if this is something you keep want to see it more, because I see it in the comment section, and that's why I love bringing it to you guys. Subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get in with things. So at this moment in time, the creature submissions has only been open for a couple of days, and a lot of votes have come flooding through already, and it's all very close, especially at the top is very close. Now, bear in mind, this kind of doesn't really matter who wins this one. It only matters if you make it into the top 10. I could actually picture this one being a very close one compared to last year. There are so many amazing ones to check out. And as I said, we are having a look at the Koolasuchus, ARK's new combat and utility amphibian. Now, one thing I always mention in this series is this is not my vote, this is not my post, anything like that. I never will mention what I'm voting for, because as I've said, whenever I've talked about, if you guys want to see my own voting, you'd rather I don't, because, just to keep it fair. So all my votes will be kept a complete secret. This series is just to highlight some of the coolest ones in the creature submissions. So the main goal of this thread is to advocate the addition of the Koolasuchus to Aberration. There are many unique concepts made by a lot of people that are worth checking out. Here's ours, the Koolasuchus in a deep overview. Now, this is made by a creator called Foz, so make sure to check out this post, and there's a really awesome dossier to check out as well. We'll be reading through the dossier later on, but I thought I'd show you. Look at the size of this thing with with like literally a survivor in its mouth there, and the way it's moving across and how fast it is, and look how cool that saddle looks too. So as you can see, we're going to be reading about it now. So in the wild. So wild Koolasuchus can be found in the waterways of the fertile region, and more commonly found in the I always just call it the biozone. Only on rare occasions found in bodies of liquid element. Koolasuchus hunt by using a cloak ability that evolved with rock drakes. While cloaked, only their glowing tongue lure is visible, that is used to attract prey. For the most part, when hunting, Koolasuchus is stationary in ambush. However, they're not creeping towards a potential meal and violently wriggle their. However, they're not above creeping towards potential meal and violently wriggle their lure to gain the attention of fish and other would-be prey. Sorry, that took me age. Once prey is close enough to open its mouth, Koolasuchus will create a violent whirlpool to suck in its food. Larger creatures, however, are able to weather this vortex or are unaffected altogether. Unfortunate victims of the Koolasuchus will find themselves stuck in a mouth with a double-rowed razor-sharp teeth. Once the Koolasuchus has captured its prey, it will uncloak and begin to violently shake its prey. I thought it said sharp teeth. For players who get caught, they will be prompted a struggle interaction for their freedom, similar to that of the Bloodstalker and the Tropio. Fighting inside the mouth of a Koolasuchus is far without its consequences. The longer you stay in its mouth, and the more health you lose over time. Pretty much you can actually lose up to 90% of your health. So for fish and smaller creatures, get one shot after getting sucked in. If anything manages to escape its mouth, they'll find their stamina significantly depleted. Koolasuchus has a moderate land speed that more often than not isn't enough to pursue prey. It makes up for this by striking its prey using high pressure jets of water to knock their prey off balance and disorientate them for easy recapture. So to have domestication, taming and stuff. So the Koolasuchus is not the apex predator in its environment. However, it is no pushover. It's ignored by anything Sarcosuchus sized and below, frequently clashing with the crab and the Spinosaurus in their vicinity. The Koolasuchus are always looking for new sources of food, driving them to consume bizarre things including plant species Z fruit and environmental elements. They have a strong inclination to eat plant Z fruit solely for their explosive properties, similar to how humans enjoy spicy food. Otherwise, they gain zero nutrients from consuming it. The explosion of the charge from the fruit has narcotic effects on their body, intoxicating them and causing them to fall into a drunken... they're going to be some drunk creatures in the game. In this state, they'll happily accept food from survivors in the form of meat and kibble. And the Koolasuchus regularly traverses vast distances in search of new food-rich areas to hunt. But one problem is the river flows works. One problem of the vertically of the river flows works against most aquatic and semi-aquatic animals. Koolasuchus has a solution to this. Its powerful paddle-like tail is strong enough to launch itself unimaginable heights out of water and clearing the tallest of waterfalls and nearby cliffs. With this ability, they frequent the areas of liquid element in the deepest parts of the cave system. They do this only to feed and absorb into their bodies, and they use it as a supplement to their diet, where they can intake it to the same water storage organ behind their throat. This very relationship with the liquid element and its passive exposure of this sounds really cool. To tame a Koolasuchus is no easy feat. Most attempts end in failure and death. Once a Koolasuchus has been identified, proceed with caution. They can only be fed when they're in cloak hunting mode, and once it begins to move its lure to you, you can begin your approach. It will acknowledge your presence and begin to slowly creep towards you. Once it begins to create its vortex, this is your chance to throw a plant species Z fruit to get sucked in. The fruit will get sucked down its throat, where it reacts with the stomach acid and explodes. This will abruptly stop the vortex and cause it to hiccup the charge particles. This will cause them to uncloak and lose aggro, and after some amount of time, the Koolasuchus will re-enter its hunting mode, and this is where you can make your approach. Repeat this process until it's knocked out and ready to be tamed. So, domestication. Once tamed, a Koolasuchus will come with two variations of saddle: a normal saddle made out of leather, unlockable at level 70, and a reinforced pod saddle, unlockable at level 85. That protects the rider from all the environmental harm and provides oxygen, allowing them to stay submerged almost indefinitely. When faced with a waterfall or nearby cliff, the Koolasuchus has the ability to charge up a jump where it can launch itself to heights based on how long it's held. With the pod saddle, survivors can brave the otherwise deadly liquid element, and as the Koolasuchus is immune to its effects. The same way they intake water to weaponize when hunting can be repurposed to intake and harvest the abundant element. The capacity of this organ can be upgraded as it replaces the oxygen stat, so it can be upgraded to carry either more water or element or a mixture of both. Once element is present in the body of a Koolasuchus, its storage organ glows a faint purple and gains two new abilities. Its water spout ability now is infused with liquid element. Apply a poison debuff to whatever it hits, chipping away its health over a short period of time. Its other ability is element refining, which takes a tremendous amount of energy from the animal. It's a mode you can set it to as well. During this process, its mobility is limited and can only take place with a 70% element capacity and 30% water capacity present. Once the available element is refined to a usable state, it will be signified by a blue glow instead of a purple one. If set to wandering and aggressive in a body of water, it will begin to hunt as it would in the wild. This lure would attract fish to its mouth where it can swallow them, rewarding it with the same type of loot survivors get when fishing normally only on a larger and more efficient scale. Breeding the Koolasuchus is similar to that other aquatic, some semi-aquatic creatures. Its eggs are incubated in water and its young are born with gills like smaller amphibian relatives. So gameplay, abilities and overview. So attacks, you've got a basic bite, water spout using a small amount of stored water, as we talked about. The element spout, the suction / vortex we talked about. The tail whip, a heavy tail whip that causes knockback to anything hit by it. I was wondering what that was flying next to me, and I was thinking, maybe was it a Koolasuchus, and there's just a giant moth next to me. I was wondering what that is. But anyway, mobility and travel. That is actually flying. Do you know what? I can't wait to start using cams like in my videos again, like, because I said I was going to start doing face cam, and that would just flow nearly in my face there. Anyway, mobility and travel. So it's got huge, like we said earlier, it boasts high water speed with the ability to launch itself out of the water, similar to that of manta rays and shadow manes. When this jump ability is used in front of a waterfall, it can quite literally run up a waterfall of any height as long as it has enough stamina. Completely, wow, so that sounds very OP. So this makes trips between the red and blue and green zones a breeze. The Koolasuchus is completely immune to the liquid element rivers, unlocking a path of transport that is rarely utilized. Otherwise slow on land, similar walk and sprint speed to a Sarco. Seems interesting. So yeah, I like the idea of this. I think this is definitely, I can see why it's got so many votes. So obviously the way, the liquid works, the element conversion, the cloaking ability is great. And I know there was actually other original, this must have been, let's see, for those people wondering where it went, Foz posted it sooner. Oh, so there's a whole bunch of people that have actually been posting it and then adding it onto this one to get more votes. And this was another idea of what the Koolasuchus, I'm sure they're pretty similar in a way, and there's some great artwork of what it can look like here. Wow, someone's really created an amazing one here. Some great artwork. And is there even more here? Look, introducing the Koolasuchus, another awesome dossier to shout out. This is from Rex Main, and the other one was from Space P. Joes. So I'm sure there's even more people throwing in ideas below. I mean, it's quite similar ideas of saddles, which I like. I like it when it's all kind of similar, and some great artwork to check out here. So yeah, keep checking it out. As I said, I'm going to be covering loads and loads of different ones as the week does go on. Excited to see what else gets posted. I love these creature submissions. So yeah, keep dropping a like, subscribe, get involved in the voting. This currently has 202. And I'll catch you guys in my next creature submissions video very soon.